Hello guys, welcome back. So now we are in tax on sales purchase. Okay. Now, previous session, all of a sudden, I said to come online at 7 o'clock. So anyway, this topic was not there in previous session, guys. Small topic was there in Dunning that I covered, right? Now, we'll talk about tax on sales purchase once again. So guys, in tax on sales purchase, what we have done the configuration, right? After configurations, of course, as usual, the testing part, right? How you will come to know whatever condition type we have created, whatever the account key we have created, whatever the tax procedure we have created is going fine or not as per your requirement. So for that we have to perform testing. How to perform testing, guys? Pretty simple. So we'll post certain invoices and we'll check the tax is getting deducted automatically or not, and whether it is going to hit the correct GL or not. That also we have to check, right? Now, so if we talk about taxes, guys, the taxes are getting calculated by tax code. So first of all, what we have to do, we have to create tax code, right? Now, when you create a tax code, guys, the tax code is going to be created against a country code. What is the transaction code? The very famous transaction code to create the tax code, guys. For tax code, what is the T code we are going to use? FTXP. It is very famous T code. It should be there at the tip of your tongue. Okay. Look at here, the country. You have to give a country code here. So what is happening, guys? Try to understand the logic. Now press enter. So now what is happening? The country code is coming. Then here we have to give a 2-digit tax code, right? So if you give the 2-digit tax code and if you press enter, then system is going to read out all the condition type which we have given in our tax procedure, right? Now go to, like, let's suppose I'm going to give A1. Okay, press enter. Now here, say for example 20% GST. Okay, let's suppose this is. And tax type. What is the use of tax type? I told you guys here, if you guys are able to remember, see input and output. How SAP will come to know? Let's suppose 12% GST, 12% here also, and 12% here also. How SAP will come to know this 12% is input tax and this 12% is output tax? And what is the need of, like, let's suppose specifying these things, right? There is a logic behind each and everything that you need to understand. So how SAP will come to know whether it is input or output tax? This 12% we are going to deduct. This 12% is getting deducted is either input or output, right? So it is going to be identified by SAP, that is by tax type. Okay, for input tax type V, and for output, so here we can give TX type, that is V, and here tax type is A, standard given by SAP. Okay, cannot be changed. It will be either V or A, and this is what is going to be throughout the world. So here what is happening, guys? You have to give a tax type. If it is input, now let's suppose we are in account receivable for customer invoices. If this deduction is supposed to be, right, from the customer invoices, So what will happen, guys? Here, now, what is the tax type? So customer means, is it output or input, guys? Whatever GST is going to be collected or received from customer, is it a output or input? Any answer?
Output, sir.
So what will be the tax type here? Look at here, guys. Yeah, pretty simple. I told only two, right? Look at here, A and V, right? So A is for output and V is for input. Okay, press enter, right? Now, what is happening, guys? So here, but this is not my condition type, guys. Whatever these condition types are there, this is not my condition type. So what to do for this one? Fahad, what to do? How to bring my condition type here? Anyone now? How to bring my condition type here? Shiva, Sadim. Yeah, that's what I'm expecting, right? See, guys, you need to understand. I have, so that's what I said clearly, right? See, why I said this? I said, guys, that when we are going to create a tax code, what is happening, guys? We are giving a country code first of all, right? And if you guys are able to remember, against country code, what is happening? We are assigning our tax procedure, all the condition type and account key, whatever these things are there that we have specified against a tax procedure, right? So I have created one tax procedure and the assignment I have done against a country code. Which country code? Of course, IN, right? Or whatever country code you are following against that country code, this tax procedure we have added, we have assigned, right? So now what is happening? When I create a tax code, it is going to be created, right, against country code. But since somebody has changed the tax procedure, that is why a different condition type is appearing. Okay. Okay, guys. So here what is happening? Now. Okay. So where is the problem? The problem is my tax procedure is already, which I have assigned, it changed by someone. Go to OB. Q3, I think, or Q1, guys. No, no, OBBC, right? OBBC. And here, TM33 is my tax procedure, right? Now, Now once again go to FTXP country. Okay. Now here, so tax code I'm going to create A1. Any 2-digit code can be given, guys. Okay. 12% GST, right? So this is like, as I said, we are having interstate movement, intrastate movement, right? So within the state, intrastate, 12% is going to be charged in the form of CGST plus SGST. And then one more you have to create for IGST, right? So now tax type will be, let's suppose, output press enter. This is my condition type which I have defined, right? Now base amount will be always blank. We cannot assign any percentage over there, right? Here, so this is like 12% CGST plus SGST, and that too it is output, right? So where is the output, guys? And CGST and SGST. So here is the output, CGST and SGST. So here 6% CGST and 6% SGST and press enter. That's it. Remaining we are not going to assign here, right? CGST 6 CGST 6% and SGST 6%, right? And then click on properties. Okay, this is like tax type and all, no need. Here, tax account. Give the chart of account, TM33. So which GL is going to be triggered, guys? If these two, if these two is going to be hit, right? CGST and SGST and that too output, then these two GL accounts are going to hit. Okay. Now, so it means, look at here, where we have assigned the GL account, guys, against account key, and that account key we have linked, that is we are given in the tax procedure itself, right? So these all informations SAP is going to read out from tax procedure, right? Against, so here against this condition type, if you talk about this is the condition type, right? Against this condition type itself we have assigned this account key, right? And against this account key, which GL account we have assigned, that you can check it here, right? So tax code A1 is going to trigger this GL account. So here also we will come to know whether our mapping is correct or not. GL mapping I'm talking about. You just save it. Likewise, you can create A2, that is for IGST, IGST, tax type A. Now, so IGST here we are going to give output, right? So here what will happen, guys, here we are going to specify 12% alone and just save it. These two tax code we have created. Likewise, input another percentage also can be created. Multiple tax codes. Even certain conditions will come later. Don't worry. Now here the question is, why do we need to specify the tax type here, guys? Is there anyone who can explain this logic? Why do I need to specify the tax type here? Why I'm going to categorize like input or output? Is there any benefit? Anyone want to give any explanations for this one, guys? The people with from previous batches, or is like anyone? Deduct or add? No, deduct or add, not that logic. Momita is saying then we can use two given tax type or code. Shiva is saying to calculate the total payable. No, dear, you are talking about reconciliations, not like that.
Can you please repeat the question, sir?
What I'm saying that when you define a tax code, right? So you have to select a tax type, right? What is the logic behind selecting this tax type? What is the benefit if I segregate here? Let's suppose 12% I have. So here input GL, output GL already we have created. So anyway, when we are going to post a transactions, right? So I have created a tax type, like I have created a tax code A1, that is for 12%, right? At the same time, I have created again another transaction. What do you say? This one tax code. This for input, right? So this is for this one. I'll make it like B1. I have created one here, that is A1. This is also 12%, right? So the question is, when B1 is going to be created, right? Automatically it is going to trigger CGST and SGST, right? So CGST and SGST here we are having, right? So these two GL accounts automatically. Why do I need to specify the tax type? What is the benefit? Anyway, if the transactions are going to be posted against these two GL, automatically we will come to know that this is input transaction, input tax. Why do we need to specify the tax type, guys?
Based on the tax type, we will calculate the percentage. There will be multiple tax types.
Based on the tax type, we can
The percentage of the tax will be calculated. For
no based
example,
on the
we
tax.
have
No. Based on tax code, the percentage is going to be calculated. Tax code doesn't have any role in percentage. Sorry, tax type doesn't have any role in percentage calculations. Tax code is going to what do you say, calculate the percentage. Okay, so I'll tell you guys, we can use different combination of tax. No, these answers are not correct, guys. So I'll now better to explain. So here, what happened? Now let's suppose we have like from vendor, right? Say for example, Tata Motor is taking any services, audit fee, audit related services from KPMG. Every month KPMG is going to send the invoice. So now audit fee, account debit, let's suppose 5,000, right? And then KPMG, this is the vendor, right? We have to create a vendor. That account is going to be credited, right? Now, first of all, 5,000 worth of invoice is there, right? Now 12% TDS. Sorry, not 12 TDS, forget about TDS. Now we'll talk about GST. 12% GST, right? 12% GST will be there. So now what is happening, guys? So generally how the taxes are applicable? So here audit fee 5,000, and of course then what will happen, guys? Then 12% GST also will be there. So now someone tell me, guys, add this 12% GST here and then tell me the what is the solution. I'll make it very simple, make it round figure so that it will be quite easy for you guys to. Now tell me, this is the like 1,000 worth of transactions. Someone tell me the accounting entry here. Simple. Anyone, guys?
So audit fee will be 880
Audit fee? How much?
will be 880
Hmm.
and the vendor account will be 1000 and GST will be 120.
GST debit or credit?
One second. Debit.
Debit. 120, right?
Yeah.
Is it correct, guys? Anybody want to modify anything here? Any modification from anybody? Okay. So this is how the calculations, if you talk about the SAP, how SAP is going to calculate. So of course, like whatever this base amount is there, this is also this base amount itself is going to be adjusted. This base amount itself is going to be adjusted with the tax amount, right? So calculations will be like this. But generally what happened, guys, but here the tax is going to be calculated on base amount and it is supposed to be posted separately apart from base amount, right? It is not going to be minus from base. So audit fee will be 1000 itself, right? There is your audit fee, right? And then on that 12% GST is there, right? And then vendor is going to be credited with how much, guys? So it is 1120, right? Is it the correct one or not? Am I correct, guys? Someone tell me.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, somebody is saying, someone is saying like, okay, Sadim is saying audit fee debit 1000, vendor 880, GST 120. No, you are adjusting, dear. See, I'll tell you, if the invoice amount is, you forget about this one, whatever you are saying, right? If you go to anyone, anywhere in restaurant and all, let's suppose if the overall voucher of 1000 rupees, so they are saying they'll add this. On that you have to pay the TDS additional, sorry, GST additional, right? If you see the restaurant slips and all, whatever amount is there, that amount plus GST you have to pay, right? Isn't it? So, so here it will be like this. You keep it here and you keep it here, right? So now this is the, okay, 12% GST. Now I'll tell you. So this is going to be SGST account 60, and it means like this is CGST, and here if it is intrastate, no confusion, guys. It's pretty simple accounting entry, right? So audit fee. So this is what the invoice will. If you receive the invoice, how the invoice will be, guys? 1000 and then this much and this much. I think I'll be having somewhere a sample, invoice. So now here, okay, look at here. Okay, now this is the invoice. Look at here, dear. Everybody, right? Professional services for a particular month. This is the amount. How much? I think 1 lakh, right? And then it comes under 18% GST. So this is your taxable value is 1 lakh. On that, CGST 9%, SGST 9%. So total how much? 1 lakh 18,000, right? Whatever the amount is there of KPMG, anyhow they are going to take. Apart from this, they'll say that you have to pay taxes additionally. isn't it? Why should I reduce my amount, right? So this is how it is going to happen. This is your base amount, and on that GST got calculated. From this one, it is not going to be adjusted. It happens in what is under indirect tax. If TDS is going to be deducted, right? Now, I don't want to make it more complex, guys. Very simple thing is there. Try to understand this one, then we'll add the scenario. Okay. Okay. So this is the accounting entry. Okay. Now I'll just do one thing. So instead of doing this CGST, SGST, right now I'll talk about GST itself. Now, so we'll say GST. So let's suppose GST, and that too, it is GST. So this is GST or GST input or output, guys? Input or output? Quickly.
Input.
Simple things. You guys respond immediately. Okay. So 120. Yes, 120. Now audit fee, right? Now, so what is happening, guys? Now let's suppose for 12% we have created a tax code V1. We have created a tax code A1. Also 12%. Two tax codes are there, right? Now, so what happened? Okay. Now there is a vendor invoice. Take example of a customer invoice. So Tata Motor is going to send. Okay. Now, so here what is happening, guys? So let's suppose a sales revenue GL will come into picture. Say for example, so let's suppose we are going to send invoice worth of 1,000 rupees, right? So in that case, what will happen, guys? So customer debit. Now let me just tell me the accounting entry, guys. Customer, we have to send invoice worth of 1,000 rupees to the customer. 12% GST, output GST, right? Anyone tell me? Sales revenue account GL will come into picture. You need to add the taxes. Entry, customer account, debit. How much? Same. 1120, right? Sales revenue account is going to be credited. It's going to be credited. Worth of how much, guys? Sales revenue deal is going to be
Wha-
credited worth of
1,000.
1,000. Okay. And then GST output.
Output.
Debit or credit?
Yeah.
GST output क्या होगा? Debit होगा, credit होगा? Tell me.
Credit.
Why credit?
Because it's output.
So why? Like why credit? Logic क्या है? Right?
Because we will collect from the customer and we have to pay to the government.
Okay. So anyway, guys, simple logic is there. See, I'll tell you now. So here now, see whatever the transactions are there, right? Those transactions are going to be divided into four parts: asset, liability, and then revenue and expenses. Right? Here, revenue and expenses. Now, I'll tell you two things. If asset is going to increase, okay, no, not revenue, here expenses, or else I think it is going to create confusion. I'll just make it 4. Okay, asset liability, and then we have expenses and revenue. Okay, how we are going to decide the debit and credit, guys? Okay, so now this is for increase. Very simple. So guys, now what is happening? Okay, if asset is going to increase, then what will happen, guys? It is going to be
Debit.
debited, right? If liability is going to increase, credit.
Credited.
If expense is going to be increased,
Debit.
debit.
Debited.
And this one
This one is debit.
credited,
Credited.
right? And then here, vice versa. In case of decrease, right? In case of decrease, right? Asset decrease, credit, liability decrease, debit, expense decrease, credit, revenue decrease, debit. Very simple, guys. You remember only increase, decrease, vice versa, right? Now here I said GST input. Why it is going to be credited now? Someone tell me.
Liability increased.
Liability. So liability, right? This is our liability, and it is getting increased. Like till now, I am having output tax. I am having total 1,000, right? Which is we are supposed to, that whatever we are collecting from customer, we are not keeping in our own pocket, right? You have to pay to the tax department. This is why it is our liability. I have already 1,000 worth of liability in my GL account. An additional 120 is going to be added. So it is going to be, or else like let's suppose 2,000 worth of liability is there. 120 is going to be added. So now my liability is going to increase it to 120, right? This is my liability. So from 2,000 it is getting increased. There is increase in liability, and that is why what is happening, guys? It is going to be credited. This is what you have to see. That's it. Or else, if you are able to remember golden rules of accounting, you can, if somebody, let's suppose someone asks for the time pass, right? Then you have to say, right? Generally, people will not ask, but still, we don't know anything about the interviewer and all, right? Okay. So this is why. Hope it is clear, guys. Okay. What I was saying, I was trying to explain something. I diverted from topic. Okay. Okay. I was talking about customer invoice, right? Now here, so for this one, the tax code now. So here, let's suppose CGST plus SGST, right? And here also CGST plus SGST, right? So different GLs are going to be triggered, right? Now for this one, these two GL, and for this one, these two GLs are going to be triggered. I'll just delete this one now. Okay. Okay. This is input. This is output. Okay. Now here what is happening, guys? So while posting the vendor invoice, you must have to select V1. And while posting the customer invoice, you must have to select A1, right? Now there is a problem. What will happen? What will happen if instead of V1 we have given A1 and somebody instead of A1 they have given V1? There might be a chances, right? There might be a chances of mistake. So for that, what SAP is doing, guys, SAP has said that you just do one thing. You just do one thing. At GL level, I'm going to provide a control. Okay? At GL level, I'm going to provide a control. When you create audit fee GL, right, then you will be having options where you can specify that audit fee GL means for this GL only. Against this GL, what is happening, guys? Only input tax allowed. In the sense, audit fee GL, when you post any transactions against this audit fee GL, then only input tax will be given. And this input tax is V1, not A1, right? So if you post any transactions related to where like audit fee GL is there, right? So A1 if you are going to give, system will not accept it, or system should not accept it, right? So now what is happening? SAP is saying that we have provided, like SAP is saying that we are going to develop additional field where you'll be having options that you can put some restrictions. You can specify that this GL is going to be, whenever transactions are going to be posted against this GL, only input tax related input tax will be allowed. So we are having two GL, A1 and V1. How SAP will come to know that A1 is input or V1 is input? So for that, what is happening, guys? We are having control this. When you create a tax type, when you create a tax code, there we are going to decide whether it is input tax or output tax. Okay? Whether it is input tax or output tax. Hope it is clear, guys. I'll just show you here. I'll show you practically, don't worry. See, nothing is difficult, guys. I just wanted to explain some more things. This one itself has taken too much time. I'll show you here. Don't worry. See, I'll tell you, the configuration is quite easy, right? One single question I ask, what is the reason behind, like, what is the benefit if you apply a tax type over there, right? Why are we going to specify A and B? What is the logic behind that? 99% of the people are going to be confused. No matter whatever explanations they are going to be given, guys, everything is going to be wrong because understanding is zero, right? So here I'll tell you, you try to understand this one, guys. You correlate each and everything, or else no benefit. Keep on doing all the configurations, nothing will happen, right? So what is happening? I have to post a transaction. Let's suppose FB60, right? Here, let's suppose here I'm going to select. Here I'm going to select a GL account audit fee. That 4001 is GL code of audit fee worth of any amount, 1000. And here you have to give a tax code. So now, guys, tax code, let's suppose input means V1. Now by mistake user is going to give A1 tax code. Then what happened? Then instead of input GL, system is going to post the transactions, in the sense the tax is going to be posted in output GL, right? The impact you will be should be able to understand, right? We are having input GL, GST input, right? Till now transactions worth of 50 rupees is posted here, and GST output, right? 100 rupees. Okay. Now what is happening? So this audit fee led transaction. So here we are supposed to give input GL, right? So let's suppose additional 30 rupees. So additional 30 rupees means it is going to be added here in input. So it is going to be 18, right? And what is the benefit, guys? At the month end, when the settlement is going to happen, when the like whatever surplus amount is going to be paid, so this amount is going to be adjusted against this one, and whatever surplus is there, that is going to be paid to the tax department. I'm just explaining a very simple funda, guys, not going in details. Now, so only 20 rupees. Now, right now it's still 50 rupees. And here instead of V1 is the input tax code. Instead of V1, user has given A1 by mistake. A1 by mistake. And against A1, what GL is assigned, guys? Against A1 we have assigned, that is A1 belongs to output. So output GL account is assigned, right? So it means those 30 rupees, instead of it's supposed to be added here, but now it is going to be added here against output GL. So it become 130. Now your entire calculation itself is wrong, right? Guys, there should not be any mistake in terms of tax calculation, right? This is a very sensitive things, isn't it? In your accounting, anything happen, it's okay, you can rectify, but tax means that doesn't belongs to you, right? Now you must have to pay. You are collecting on behalf of someone. Okay. So now here it means what is happening, guys? You must have to apply a kind of restrictions, certain kind of restrictions, so that such kind of mistakes should never happen. Okay. So now what is happening? So audit fee means now only input GL supposed to be input tax code itself. If you give here V1, then system will accept. The moment you are going to give A1, system should not accept. System should throw error. How it is possible, guys? So when you set up the audit fee GL, I'll tell you. So now go to FS00. When you set up the audit fee GL, so we have an option here. So let's suppose TM. Okay, instead of audit fee, let's suppose rent itself. I'm going to. Or else what is this ABC account, guys? Okay. Let's suppose this itself is audit fee GL. You can make it. Okay. So when you set up the audit fee GL, now what is happening, guys? Here you are having option. Where? Here, tax category. So here we are having options. Either minus. Minus means what, guys? Look at here, only input tax allowed. Or else plus. Only output tax allowed. Right? So here, minus I'm going to give. Only input tax allowed. You can save it. Right? Likewise, when you talk about sales revenue, so here also we can apply restrictions. This is only output tax allowed plus. Now what happened? So here we have given a restrictions, right? Sale tax code has been changed, please. What has been changed, guys? Okay. Now, so here what is happening? Now you refresh. So whether it is input, this is audit fee, right? So here audit fee means we have applied a restrictions, only input tax allowed. Now still the restrictions you have applied, but how SAP will come to know that this V1 is input, right? And A1 is output, right? So SAP is saying that while creating a tax code, you have to specify a tax type. It means we are giving one additional setting, additional options. You must have to specify the tax type. Always, while creating itself, we have to categorize whether it is input or output, right? So, and it is a mandatory. You don't have any options like okay, you can skip this. No, if you create a tax code, you must have to specify whether it is input or output, right? So this is input. So for input, we are having tax type V. For output, SAP is given tax type A, right? So when you create V1, we have assigned a tax type V. So V means now SAP came to know that V stands for what, guys? Input. And tax type A, this A1 we have created against tax type A. So it is output, right? So now what is happening, guys? If you post a transaction, look at here, if you post a transactions against audit fee, 4002 I think was the GL code, right? And if you give this amount, and here if you give A1, then A1 we have created against tax type A, that is stand for output. And here against audit fee GL, we have given restrictions, only input tax allowed. So A1 is not input tax. It means system will not allow to post the transaction against this A1 tax code. Why? Because that is output, and here we have given the restrictions for input only. That's what you have to understand, right? So if you give V1, then only SAP either V1 or any input tax code, guys, any input tax code, then only system is going to allow, right? So it means here such kind of restrictions. So you have to select input tax only. Now again the question is, now let's suppose what will happen, sir, instead of 12%, if somebody is going to give 5%, right? So if somebody is pretty much sure that this GL account is going to be, we use only 12% tax code, then even you will be having options to here, you can enter the tax code also. Here directly the tax code only can be. So it means when you post a transaction against this, what is a audit fee GL account, right? When you post a transaction against audit fee GL account, if you have given a particular tax code, then only that tax code is going to be specified here. Okay, system will allow only that tax code, or else other tax codes are not going to be allowed, right? But generally, most likely, what is happening, guys? We are using input and output, right? If now user is, let's suppose, if your user is not able to select the correct tax code and all, they have to go for reversal, right? But at least input and output kind of mistakes cannot be done, because that is totally a different GL. Here it is totally different GL. Okay, so this is what the benefit of tax type. Now I'll just do one thing, guys. So what we have done, we have created the GL account. I think F. Let me check it. FTXP. Oh, it is already more than 9. Okay, I'll just check it, guys. I just wanted to, even in posting also, I have to explain lots of things. So which one I have created, guys? A1 I have created and V1 I have created, right? So always, whenever you guys are going to create a tax code, make sure that you have to check your tax procedure. If somebody has changed the tax procedure, and of course it is pretty obvious because this is online server, and of course people may change your tax procedure, and you all are practicing. Let's suppose somebody has created, so you always have to change your tax procedure. Then you can perform your settings, right? You can perform your testing, right? So now we'll post transactions and then we'll proceed further. Some more things I have to explain, guys, but that I'll explain in next session. So hope you guys are able to understand. uh, there is a logic behind this one also, posting without tax allowed, but generally very rarely it is going to be used, guys. Why it is not going to be used, behind that also logic is there, but if I explain it is going to take time, so tomorrow I'll explain this. Okay, so that's all in this session. That's all for today.